Okay, here's my entry into Poetry on Plastic's 5,000 sub contest. His first question is, show a record by the first band you saw live. Well, for me, that would either be Lighthouse, which I do have a record from, or a band called A Foot in Cold Water, which I have no albums from. Now, it's iffy which one I saw first, because that would have been in the mid to late 60s, maybe 70s. Long time ago. Show a record you listened to the most when you were 17. Well, that would have been 1970, and a strange band with a peculiar singer popped onto the scene in 1970. And that would be this album. And this is my original album from what I bought back then. I really liked the sound of Ozzy and Black Sabbath, and listening to Tony Iommi's guitar work was just fascinating. And I think that's where I first decided to start playing guitar. Okay, the next question would have been, show a record that was at any point into a genre. That's probably pronounced that wrong. Well, I'm going to go back about 4 years from 1970 when I was 17 to when I was 13, and I discovered another band that, well, all the girls at the time were were watching Ed Sullivan and screaming about the Beatles and stuff. I instead went for the Prefab Four. I discovered the Monkees, and they would have been my entry into the rock and pop rock genre. I still enjoy listening to them. I have pretty well all their albums. Okay, show a record that you used to show off your system. Well, for me, I picked two, and they would be Supertramp's Crime of the Century, which is really good for showing off rock-type music. I was debating between this one and Even in the Quietest Moments, and an ambient album by Andreas Vollenweider called Caverna Magica. Okay, show a record that is recorded or mixed horribly that you love anyway. Well, for me, that's the Quicksilver Messenger Services Just for Love. I've got several different versions of this album, and they all sound atrocious. At least the recording was, whoever did it should have been shot. Okay, and tell me about a future upgrade you want to make to your turntable stereo listening space. Yeah, probably all of them. Most likely my speaker stands really need to be changed. The ones I'm using now came from Best Buy, and they're wobbly. If you poke a speaker, it'll wobble back and forth for 4 or 5 minutes before it settles down. But I also want to put in acoustic panels into the room to knock down some reflections, a few upgrades for the turntable I've got planned, so that particular question would have opened an entire can of worms. Well, anyway, that's it, and those are my responses to Poetry on Plastic's 5,000 sub contest. So long, bye-bye, and see you around on that tube thing.